Today we will continue with our topic of end effectors in the robots. After the tools, we will come to grippers as the end effectors. So under grippers, the types are as mechanical grippers, hooks and scoops, vacuum grippers, expandable bladder type grippers, and adhesive grippers. Now we will discuss them in detail. So we can think of a mechanical gripper as a robot hand. So gripper like a hand like a human hand. So it is similar to that in case of a robot. So a basic robot hand will have only 2 or 3 fingers. So a mechanical hand that wraps around an object will rely on friction in order to secure the object it is holding. Okay, so friction, yes, because it has to keep a hold on the object on which the task is to be done. Okay, so friction between the gripper and the object will depend on two things. First of all, is the type of surface, whether it be metal, okay, on metal, then rubber on metal, smooth surfaces or rough surfaces. Okay, so this type of material, and then second is the force which is pressing the surfaces together. Okay, then mechanical grippers are often fitted with some type of pad, usually made from polyurethane, as this provides greater friction. Because in case of a lack of friction, the object will slip, or if the holding, gripping, that is not proper, then the object will not be placed at the right place. Okay, now if I consider some assembly line that is moving and each robotic arm is placing a particular component on a final product, okay, like it is assembling something, and one type of object has to be placed on one place, and it is not placed properly, then the whole product is not going to be as per our expectations. It may be faulty, defective product will be produced. Okay, so gripping should be very strong, and so as to maintain the accuracy, the desired performance in the or the quality of the final product. So mechanical grippers, okay, usually they are having pads, and they are less likely to damage the workpiece, because the robotic end effectors, they are also metallic parts, so their gripping, their hold may not damage the workpiece as well. Okay, there also the pads are acting will be acting like a cushion. So pads are also used so as to have a better grip, as polyurethane will make contact with all parts of the surface when the gripper is closed. Okay, so the maximum surface that will be in contact. So mechanical grippers can be designed and made for specific purposes and adjusted according to the size of the object. So they can also have dual grippers. Okay, so we are all familiar with the saying, two hands are better than one. Okay, so something common to that. And robots benefit from having dual grippers, as they can increase productivity. And that is our uh, requirement, the productivity that should be increased on using robots. Okay, so be used with machines that have two workstations, where one robot can load two parts in a single operation. That is increasing the production, increasing the efficiency. So operations in which the size of objects or part change due to the machining process, and where the cycle time of the robot is too slow to keep up with the production of other machines. So holding of part by mechanical gripper. So first one is using the finger pads as like the shape of the work part. So here the contact surfaces of the fingers are designed according to the work part for achieving the estimated shape. So it will help the fingers to hold the work part for some extent. Okay, next is using soft material finger pads. So in this method, the fingers must be capable of supplying sufficient force to hold the work part. Then to avoid scratches on the work part, soft type of pads are fabricated on the fingers. Yes, because the hold should be not be like that, it is damaging the workpiece. Okay, then as a result, the contact surface of the finger and coefficient of friction are improved. So these are the different purposes which are solved by using the pads in the grippers. Friction is also there, wear and tear of the workpiece, that is also minimized, almost completely eliminated. Okay, so in this method is a very simple and less expensive. So another advantage, the economical from the economical point of view, so it may cause slippage if the force applied against the work part is in parallel direction. So to avoid the slippage, so we design a gripper based on the force exerted. Okay, so here the expression is there. Okay, first thing mu, that is the coefficient of friction between the work parts and fingers. Nf, that is number of fingers contacting. Fg, force on the gripper. Okay, together, that is product of these three quantities, that is equal to weight of the grasped object. Okay, so from this equation we can determine that how much force is to be applied on which type of object and grasping which type of object. So in this equation 1 must be changed if the weight of the work part is more than the force applied to cause the slippage. So here we are using G, the gravity factor. Now coming to the another type of gripper, hooks and scoops. So here in the image we can see hook in the first image, scoop in the second image. So hooks and scoops are the simplest type of antifactors that can be classed as grippers. So a scoop or ladle, that is commonly used to scoop up molten metal and transfer it to the mold. Another thing, hook. So maybe all that is needed to lift a part, especially if precise positioning is not required and if it is not to be dipped into a liquid. So, okay, so hooks are used to load and unload parts hanging from the overhead conveyors. Okay, some very common type of applications where we can use this hook. So the parts can be handled by a hook, must have some sort of handle, eye bolt, or ring where the hook can be placed. Okay, so enable the hook to hold it. So scoops are used for handling the materials in liquid or powder form. The limitation of the scoop is that it is difficult to control the amount of material being handled by the scoop. Okay, that is not easy. How much amount it has to be collected in the scoop. So spilling of the material during handling, that is also another challenge. Okay, coming to the magnetic gripper. Here in the figure we can see magnetic gripper. So magnetic grippers work on magnetic objects. Yes, that's why the name magnetic gripper. So they're limited to metals. Okay, so certain metals which can be lifted up by using the force of magnetism. So their magnetic gripper can be used. For maximum effect, the magnet needs to have complete contact with the surface of the metal to be gripped. Any air gaps will reduce the strength of the magnetic force. Therefore, flat sheets of metals are best suited to magnetic grippers. So yes, very common example application, that is in the flat sheets, metallic basically. Okay, if the magnet is strong enough, a magnetic gripper can pick up an irregular shaped object. Okay, so in some cases the shape of the magnet matches the shape of the object. Now coming to the disadvantage of this type of gripper, that is the temperature. Okay, so when heating the permanent magnet, that starts demagnetizing. Okay, so there is a danger that prolonged contact with hot workpiece will weaken them to the point where they can no longer be used. Because magnetism that is decreasing, so that its use will not be, or the use that is not applicable now. Simple metal, it is not magnet, then we cannot use it. So the effect of heat will depend on the time the magnet spends in contact with the hot part. So most magnetic materials are relatively unaffected by temperatures up to around 100 degrees. Means up to 100 degrees, very satisfactorily we can use magnetic grippers. So electromagnets can be used instead of permanent magnets, okay, and are operated by DC electric current and lose nearly all of their magnetism when the power is turned off. Means it is as per our requirement, as per our desire. We can make this gripper magnetic, or we can magnetize it, and as per our requirement we can demagnetize it. So permanent magnets are also used in situation where there is an explosive atmosphere and sparks from electrical equipment could cause a hazard. Okay, in that case we will discourage electromagnets. So where there we will use permanent magnets. Next one is suction grippers. So here in the figure we can see suction grippers. So two type of suction grippers. First one operated by vacuum. Okay, so for this we need vacuum pump. Okay, we need compressed air so that the suction can be done. So next one, flexible suction cup. Okay, so this cup presses on the workpiece, then air is blown out into the suction cup. Okay, so advantage of the suction cup is that if there is a power failure, it will still work as all the workpiece will not fall down. Now disadvantage is that they can only work on clean or smooth surfaces. In the case of dirty surface, the grip won't be there. So there are many more advantages for using a suction cup rather than a mechanical grip. Okay, so advantages are like there is no danger of crushing fragile objects. The exact shape and size does not matter, and the suction cup does not have to be precisely positioned on the object. The downfall of suction cups as an end effector include the robot system must include a form of pulp or pump for air, and the level of noise can cause annoyance in some circumstances. Okay, usually noise actually it is from the compressor, because in this type of robot for creating compressed air we need a compressor, and they are making a huge noise, so that could be discomforting. Next is expandable bladder type grippers. Here in the diagram we can see, so the bottle that is to be lifted up. So initially the bladder, okay, that is the flat, so it can easily enter. After that it is expanded. Now it has make a good hold. Okay, like in the two diagrams we can see D. Okay, D, that is the flattened diameter of this gripper, and in the next figure D1, okay, that is about 40% more. So now it is expanded, so it has made a grip on the bottle from the inside. Okay, so bladder gripper or bladder hand is specialized robotic end effector that can be used to grasp, pick up and move rod shaped or cylindrical objects. Okay, so the application here in case of rod shaped cylindrical objects, the main element of the gripper is inflatable donut shaped or cylindrical sleeve that resembles the cuff commonly used in blood pressure measuring apparatus. Okay, so I think everyone would be familiar with that. Okay, the sleeve is positioned so it surrounds the object to be gripped, and then the sleeve is inflated until it is tight enough to accomplish the desired task. Means it can lift that object. So that much tighten it should be. So the pressure exerted by the sleeve can be measured and regulated using force sensors. Next, bladder grippers are useful in handling fragile objects. However, they do not operate fast and they can function only with objects with a rather narrow range of physical sizes. So some of the limitations are also there. Over wide range, we cannot use them. Now coming to the last one, that is the adhesive grippers. The adhesive substances can be used for grasping action in adhesive gripper. Okay, so some type of adhesive substance that has to be used here, so that can stick to the workpiece. So in adhesive grippers, the adhesive substance loses its tackiness due to repeated usage. Yes, we can see simple glue, stick it, then unstick, then again stick. So its strength, adhesiveness that will reduce. So the repeatability of the gripper that is reduced. Okay, so as to overcome this difficulty, the adhesive material is continuously fed to the gripper in the form of ribbon by feeding mechanism. So continuously you have to feed the adhesive material. So a major asset of the adhesive gripper is the fact that it is simple. Okay, so that is also our requirement. More complicated system, that is also we try to avoid unless it is not needed. It is not mandatory rather. So as long as the adhesive keep its stickness, it will continue to function without maintenance. So however, there are certain limitation. The most significant limitation is the fact that the adhesive cannot readily be disabled in order to release the grasp of an object. Yes, something we can compare with the electromagnet. Yes, where electromagnet, as per our requirement, as per our desire, we can demagnetize it. But in case of gripper, adhesive gripper, that thing is not available. Adhesiveness will not be immediately as per our will. It cannot be removed. So by some other means, such as the devices that lock the gripped object into place, must be used. Okay, so some diagram I can show you here. So the pen, that is pen and the glass here, they are being handled by the adhesive grippers. Okay, so adhesive grippers are used for handling fabrics and other lightweight materials. Okay, so I think I shall stop here.